Hello，
有有有。
哦，
那个
Hello，
哦有。
行礼问讯，再问讯，三问讯。好，请坐。
So, 세계를 중요한 너기 보죠. 세계를 못 하고 싶고 저제 제거죠. 여긴 것도 저도 오늘 판단보다 막 알려줘서. 겸용과 달라고 뭐 주제 주의 줄어서. 집을 못 놓친기.
师兄，往上到第几页？66。师傅第几？
66.
第8页。
대파대비 so 是吗？
父转成子母，
예.
父转成子，母成妻。愿敌父次成亲友，是故流转轮回者，无有少许确定性。
So last time, right? 65.
Yes.
대파대비 퐁다 치워다 나단 가서 동을 도마이 중에 코로알라네 규제진 디 네바셰경 셈바르즈스, right? So the 65th, right? The stanza, right? Stanza. You know what is stanza, right? Stanza is like T-E-G. Duan. Like four line is a one stanza, right? So 65th. So anyway, right? So last time, the what we need to understand first is that, you know, in this samsara, right? In this samsara, there are lots of, you know, faults, right? Not good things, like being sick, you know, aging, and lots of other sufferings. So that's why the Pusa, you know,龍樹 Pusa, right? He said that we need to, we should not be happy about this samsara. That's what he said, right? Yeah. So he advised king, you know, to concentrate on the fault of samsara.
上次讲到呢，龙树菩萨说呢，因为轮回之中呢有很多不完美，有很多痛苦，有爱别老死病苦，就是人会慢慢变老，然后也会生病，然后会趋向死亡。所以龙树菩萨就跟国王说呢，我们应该要多思维，就是此生轮回中的这些痛苦。
Yes. So now this is very important, you know, because why? Because we as a Buddhist, right, we are practicing this Buddhism because we want to achieve enlightenment, right? So that's why there is always how to say, there is like, you don't know, do you know like a procedure, like stage, you know, like first this one, second this one, third this one, right? So since, you know, we are practicing this Buddhist, you know, these teachings to achieve enlightenment, right? So there is always that, you know, the stage.
那我们呢修学佛法呢，或者是说在修行之中呢，是要迈向成佛之路、成正悟的路。然后这些路一路上呢是有各个次第，不是一触可及，就是慢慢的一步一步的。
Yes. So that's why so we say we want to achieve enlightenment, right? But why do we want to achieve enlightenment, right? There is a question, why? Now there is another, so something has to happen before, right? Something has to happen before we want to achieve enlightenment. And what is that? Is, like we have to be sad about this samsara, right? If you are sad about the samsara, then you want to find a way to get out of this samsara.
为什么我们要想要迈向证悟成佛之路呢？一定有某些事情发生，然后会造成你会想要走上这条路。那这个原因是什么呢？就是因为在轮回当中呢，你一定就是要对这此生的轮回呢升起一种就是厌恶的心，就是因为这轮回当中呢会有很多不好的事情发生，然后你觉得不想要再让这些事情发生了，所以对轮回就是要产生一种伤心难过，然后甚至有点就是不要再发生的这种心情。
Yes. So whenever we know like, so this is it says that, right? Jungne, this samsara is the source of all the problems, right? So that's why you need to be sad, right? That's what he said. So, but we also need to understand, when we say sad, it's not just, like, oh, today I feel very sad. It's not like that. What does it really mean? Because that feeling, right, that the feeling that it mentioned here, which is used, which the term they use is like being sad, gyowa, gyowa. It's not just a sad. It's more like, you are not satisfied, right? You don't see, like something. You don't see something meaningful. You understand? How to say meaningful?
有意义。
有意义的, like when whatever things happens, right? You don't see any meaning in those things. That is sad. It's just not a feeling sometimes,
在这里说的伤心难过或者是厌恶的心情呢，是指一种你觉得此生已经就是做任何事情都没有意义，然后有一点怎么讲，不是难过，就可能有一点不满足，说为什么人生就已经就是只剩这些痛苦的事情，然后这是你要对。因为这些事情呢，都是因为我们一直轮回来，然后一直发生，然后所以大家应该对就是轮回这件事情要有一种怎么讲呢，就不满足，然后觉得不应该就只满足此生这样子。
Yes. So yes, that feeling is more like seeing no meanings, like meaningless, and also not satisfied. That's the meaning of this, like term sad. And if there is no sadness, right, then if we don't have that feeling, then why do we want to achieve enlightenment, right? There has to have a factor. There has to have something that wants us to achieve enlightenment. If there is no such thing like that, right, such feeling, then there's no thought of achieving enlightenment.
当仁波切说sad 这个字伤心难过呢，应该要是指说在这此生轮回当中所有的生老病死你都不满足，然后你甚至觉得这些事情都没有意义，就对你来说你应该觉得说这么痛苦的事情一直在发生，然后在轮回之中还一直在发生，所以应该要有一种怎么说呢，就是有一种就是你不想要这些事情再发生，然后就是求不得，然后求不得到有点难过的感觉。
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's why like so now like why do we feel sad? Let's use the term, right? So now you guys know the meaning of this sadness, right? So now why do we feel sad? Now it also depends. If you always see the good quality of this samsara, right, then you will never be sad. You are happy, right? If you can do a business, you're gonna get lots of money. If you have lots of money, you can buy a house, all those things. There are so many things that we can do, right? But there's also so many things that we don't want, which is like, we don't want to be old, right? We don't want to die. We don't want to get sick, right? We want to be friendly with, other people, right? So that's why the Nagarjuna, right, he said, you need to think of all those, like not good things about this samsara. Then you will feel, sad about this samsara. Then you will have a thought of achieving enlightenment.
因为在人的一生当中呢，会有好的事情发生，然后也会有不好的事情发生。那我们在轮回之中呢，会发生好事情，也会发生不好的事情。好的事情呢，大概就是我们可以享乐啊、赚钱啊，然后有好车、有好房啊、有好的家庭。那不好的事情呢，就是我们大家都不希望变老，也不希望生病。当然，就是可能有人会不接受死亡。那龙树菩萨就是说呢，我们在轮回当中呢，都会发生生老病死这些事情。除了那些好的东西呢，我们还要想到这些生老病死这些不好的事情。
Yes, so it also goes for us. So that's why we need to, like all of us, we need to understand why we are practicing Buddhism, right? If you want to practice Buddhism because you want to achieve enlightenment, then first thing we need to see, right, is the fault of the samsara. We need to see the fault of the samsara. Then, yeah, you will have the thought of like, oh, it's not really very meaningful, all the things that we have been doing, right? Then there is a, like you will have the sense of, achieving enlightenment. Then that's where the true practice of Buddhism start.
龙树菩萨说呢，我们修行者呢，应该要走上成佛之路。那如何走上成佛之路呢？就是我们应该要思维轮回中的这些痛苦的事情，这些生老病死的事情。当我们就是真的在思维这些生老病死的事情的时候呢，我们就可以感受到，就是这些让我们很快乐的事情呢，都是很短暂的。这些金钱啊，享乐的事情啊，好房好车这些事情呢，都是非常短暂的。就是当我们可以这样去思维轮回当中的这些苦的时候呢，我们才能真正的开启修行的道路。
Yeah, and so I think it's also important that we understand this part, right? So before we talk about like if we just study, right? If we just study, but if we don't have fu bao, like the merit, right? Right, merit. 功德, right? If you don't have a 功德, that understanding will not become a wisdom, right? So now will not become the wisdom. So now in this case, right? In our case, what we need to understand is that we do a lot of good things, right? We give 供养, right? We do all those things, right? But now it's same. That action, right? Giving this, generosity action, that action also need to become a path, right? Path. Path? How to say like path?
道路。
Yeah. Because, okay, it has to become a path, right, toward the enlightenment. Now, why, like 供养 or, like 众生, is it 众生?
Yes.
Right? Why that action, how that action become a path is also, like same question. Do you understand? For example, right? Let me make it more simple. If we don't have a merit, our understanding will just stay understanding. It will not transform into wisdom, right? Same. So right now, that's why we say we need to do lots of gongda, right? So now gongda has also many different types of gongda, right? You give me hongbao, you give me hongbao. Both are like good thing, right? But you're giving me the giving action of giving me the hongbao, right? It becomes a different gongda, and he give me a hongbao. It also become a different gongda. But why it become different gongda? We need to understand. It depends on your intention.
Yes.
Understand?
Yes. 如果我们呢学习佛法呢，都只是学习的话呢，就只是知识。那如何要把它转变成智慧呢？然后都要靠我们自身的福报跟功德。那就像仁波切说，他说如果只是做供养呢，为什么这件事有功德呢？那供养这件事呢，对每个人来说呢，都是看每个人的发心动机，跟根据每个人自己累积的福报功德不一样，然后而产生不一样的效果。对。
Yeah. So now, right? So now we are not very satisfied with this world, right, samsara. So because that's why we want to achieve enlightenment. Now this is very important. Whenever you want to achieve enlightenment, right, then you do a gongda, right? You do a good things, right? And that good things it transforms into a path to achieve enlightenment. Or else, if you don't want to achieve enlightenment, you just give like $1 million to anyone. It is good thing, gongda, but that gongda cannot help you to achieve enlightenment. Because intention matters a lot. Intention.
那我们说呢，累积自身福德呢，也是迈向成佛之路的方法之一。那做供养呢，也是迈向成佛的道路之一。那这个供养呢，要如何成为这个方法之一呢？就是当你的发心很重要。如果你没有想要成佛的发心，你只是做一般只是想要供养师父的话呢，那你的这个发心呢，就没有比想要成佛的这个发心而去做供养来的那个功德这么大，所以发心很重要。
Yeah, the 成佛的发心, right? So, for example, right? For example, like we talk about bodhishin, right? Bodhishin. I want to achieve enlightenment, right? For all the sentient beings. This is a bodhishin you can say, but bodhishin is a vow. Is a how to say 戒? Is a vow, right? Is a vow. So lots of just people can think, I want to achieve enlightenment, and for all the sentient beings, they can think like that, but it doesn't make them a bodhisattva, right? Right? But what makes them bodhisattva is bodhishin the 戒, right? So once you have that bodhishin the 戒, then you have the thought, then you become bodhisattva. You understand? So there has to be something that make things happen.
当你想要迈向成佛之路呢，众生都会说，为了解救众生呢，我发心要成佛。可是为了成佛之前呢，就是大家还是会先从菩萨开始。那我们说那个要成为菩萨呢，就是你要发这个菩提心。那除了发菩提心呢，我们还要有一个菩提心戒，就是你要有这个戒，得到这个戒之后呢，然后你做了这个菩萨的发心呢，然后去做这些为众生做各种种种的事呢，这样才算是一个正确迈向成佛之路的方法。
Yeah. So So yeah, the reason why I'm emphasizing it so much is because it's very important. What makes our kongda a proper kongda that can help us to achieve enlightenment. All of the kongda cannot really lead you to achieve enlightenment, because there's a difference. So that's why, right, it's very important for us to know, if you really want to achieve enlightenment, then you need a kongda, right? That kongda, merit, right?
Yes.
Karma, good karma, and that karma, right, is not all the karma can help you to achieve enlightenment. Only certain karma, right? And that certain karma has to be, based on intention of achieving enlightenment, right? Then achieving enlightenment thought, to achieve enlightenment thought will only happen to you if you see the samsara as very meaningless, not satisfying.
功德呢，跟善业一样呢，都有分很多种。那不是每一种呢，都可以让你，成为让你成佛的一种善业或者是功德。那迈向成佛之路呢，你一定要有想要成佛的发心之后，再去做这些事情，累积功德跟累积善业，这样才有成佛的可能。
Yes. So for example, right, we talk about 小乘, 大乘, right? We talk about 小乘, they have also practice like generosity, right? Discipline. Do you know the 6 things? Generosity, discipline, generosity,
布施、持戒、精进、忍辱。
Then patience, then, right? You know those 6 things, right?
六波罗蜜。
六波罗蜜, but that's not 波罗蜜, just 六度. Is it 六度? Yeah. Even 小乘, right? They don't practice 六波罗蜜, but they practice 六度 or what, right? Because they don't have parul de chimba. I don't know how to say that in Chinese, or parul de chimba is paramitas, like something beyond, parul de chimba. Is for example, right, the practice of generosity, right? Let's say practice of generosity of bodhisattva, right, which is Tatan, right? And the Xiaochen, they also practice of generosity, but it's very different. Bodhisattvas practice, right? Both of them are practicing the same practice, right? Generosity and generosity. But why bodhisattvas practice is kongda bijiao han yu li, like why it is much stronger, is because why they have a intention, right? Intention is not only about achieving enlightenment, right? But for all the sentient beings, I want to achieve enlightenment, right? Xiaochen is I want to achieve enlightenment, but I don't want to achieve enlightenment for everybody. There's a 2 different intention, right?
Yes.
So there's a 2 different intention, right? Xiaochen and Dachen. So Xiaochen intention is much smaller, just for me. I don't want this samsara. I want to achieve enlightenment, but not for everybody. It's too mafan, It's too troublesome. But only for me is the one thing. But Dachen, right? I want to achieve enlightenment for all the sentient beings. That's why I will achieve enlightenment. After I achieve enlightenment, then I'll come back, and I help more sentient beings, right? So there's a 2 different intention. So when there's a 2 different intention, even though the action is same, which is discipline, and generosity, but bodhisattvas, the action, right, is much more powerful than the Xiaochen. Because why? The intention. Even though the practice is just same, like both of them are practicing discipline, but because of the intention, that's why the action itself has much more merit.
小乘跟大乘呢是最主要不同之处呢，在于当小乘人跟大乘人呢都做一样的事情的时候呢， 大乘菩萨的功德会比较多。为什么呢？因为大乘菩萨呢是为了众生，然后而成佛。那当他成佛之后呢，他还会再回到轮回之中呢，再度众生。那小乘人呢，他是为了自己成佛，他就离开了轮回，成佛去了，他就不会再回来这个轮回呢度众生。所以小乘人跟大乘人最大的差别就是在于他的发心，一个是有为众生，一个是没有为众生。
Yes, so that's why, right? If you want to achieve, like Buddhahood, 成佛, only Bodhisattva can achieve. Kshatriya, they cannot achieve 佛, right? They can achieve, their own nirvana, but they cannot really achieve Buddhahood. Why? Practice is same, but the intention. When you have a better intention, your action, it becomes grand, very grand, right? So that's why the intention is very important. So that's why we need to ask ourselves, why we are practicing Buddhism, right? Oh, I want to achieve enlightenment. Then what do you need to check? Are you, like unsatisfied, right? Do you see meaningless about the samsara or not? If you don't see, then you don't want to achieve enlightenment. It's very simple.
小乘人呢，小乘跟大乘也有不同的差别。因为菩萨呢，最后呢可以成佛，再回到娑婆世界度众生。那小乘人呢，他是离开轮回，但是他并没有成佛。一个是为了众生，然后一个是小乘呢是为了自己。那我们就要问自己，为什么想要成佛？那你的发心动机是什么？这样是有很大的差别。
It's like, even though, like she and me, we are selling the same food, but people are willing, to give more money for my food. Even though she, right, and me, we are selling the same food. Let's say mushroom, hotoku, right, mushroom, right, monkey head mushroom. Even though we are selling the same mushroom, but people want to pay more money for my mushroom. You know why? Because I have that, Michelin, right? Because I have that Michelin star, like Michelin, right?
Yes.
So people don't hesitate to pay like 200 for my mushroom, because they see Michelin, isn't it? But for her, right, even though it's same, they will hesitate to pay, because why? They don't see a Michelin, something like that. Why? There has to be something that makes things more special.
举个例子来说呢，就像仁波切跟我呢，如果都一样是在卖吃的话呢，假设仁波切有米其林推荐的话呢，大家一定都会就是想都不用想，就是跟仁波切买，然后他一定不会跟我买，因为我什么都没有。这个是跟这个道理呢，就是跟我们想要就是学佛心是一样的。
Yeah. So that's why, right? Bodhisattva, they have a grandeur, like bigger intention, motivation. That's why even though they are doing the same thing, it has a better reputation, right? At least, and it has a better, like a power to achieve enlightenment. Yeah, that's what makes the practice of Bodhisattva achieve enlightenment. Yeah, that's the difference.
这就是为什么呢？菩萨呢做任何事情呢都特别有说服力。如果是跟阿罗汉比起来的话呢，菩萨就是比阿罗汉还有说服力。然后这个是他们做的事情呢，因为他们发心比较大，是为众生，所以他们的力量也比较大。
Yeah, but even though, right, maybe you guys should also understand, like it doesn't matter Shaotan or Tatan, all of them, right, all of Shaotan, Tatan, eventually, at the end, everybody will, like achieve enlightenment. Everybody. Because, like how, right, the Shaochen, you know, they will achieve their own achieve their own enlightenment, right? Then, because when they were on the path, you know, when they were practicing, what they wish, what was the intention was, they want to achieve enlightenment for myself, right? So they will achieve enlightenment, right? After many years and many lives, right? So, and when they achieve enlightenment, they will born somewhere in the Pure Land, right? In the lotus, right? So since they don't want to come back to help sentient beings, right? They will just stuck there, you know, in lotus, free, doing nothing, you know, enjoying. Yeah. And they will stuck in the lotus for so many years. So many years, really. Even longer than, you know, like a human being suffer in hell. People say, you know, like in text it say, people will suffer in hell for so many years, right? Comparing to those Shaochen, the Buddha, right? When they achieve enlightenment, they will stay even more, even longer in the lotus. Then, when the time comes, right, Buddha will appear. When he is ready to practice, you know, the Bodhisattva's path, right? Buddha will appear, and Buddha will, you know, like shine, you know, like Guang, right?
Yes.
They will shine, and shine. Then the lotus will be open, right? And Buddha will teach them. You know, now it's your time for you to practice, you know, like Bodhisattva path. Then they will practice Bodhisattva path. Then they will achieve enlightenment. So eventually, right, Shaochen Taten, all of us will achieve enlightenment.
不论是小乘人或是大乘人呢，最终呢都会证悟成佛。为什么呢？因为那个小乘人呢，虽然他在证悟之后呢，他不会马上成佛，他会到他方世界去，然后住在他方世界的莲花里面。可是他会在莲花里面呢，住非常久，就是非常久的时间。然后怎么去说呢？甚至有书上呢记录是写说，会比一个人经历就下地狱，在下地狱人如果下地狱的话，会很多年，就不是人类的寿命计算的。那个小乘人进入那个莲花之后呢，应该说阿罗汉进入那个莲花之后呢，他待在莲花的时间会更久，比在地狱的时间还要久。然后可是当他的缘分到了的时候呢，佛就是会有佛呢来对他放光，那他的莲花就会开。那到那个时候呢，这个小乘人呢，他就会愿意行菩萨道，就会再来修行菩萨道，然后再迈向成佛之路。这就是为什么小乘跟大乘的呢，最终呢都能成佛的原因。
Yes, so that's why. So that's why, right? There is also a story, like one of the Buddhas. I think it's Shariputra or something. I'm not very sure. So, like, there's a disciple of Buddha, right? He was teaching to lots of Shaochen practitioner. Many they were teaching about Shaochen.
Disciple teaching.
Yeah, Buddha's disciple.
Okay.
Right? Buddha's disciple. He was teaching his disciple, right? So then who came? I kind of forgot this story. Like then, I think it's Manjushri or something. I think Manjushri came, right, and disturbed them. And Manjushri teach them the emptiness, the teaching of emptiness, which is Tachen's teaching, right? So then all of those, like Shaochen disciple, they just like they think this is all bullshit, all teaching of emptiness is all bullshit. So there are many different stories. Some stories say, right, they vomit a lot of blood and died. Yeah, because like they were so scared.
Too shocked.
Yeah, really. There are some people, you know, when they hear this kind of like teaching of emptiness, right, they really get very scared. I saw someone, you know, I saw some people that they were so scared, really, because they, you know, like they love them. It's not only because they love them so much. It's just like they don't have like enough, you know, like karma to listen to these teachings, or they just like this themselves so much, like, oh, there's no one, so how about me? I don't also exist. They feel very shocked, you know. So there are many different stories. So some stories say they just die at the spot, vomiting blood. Then they say after the other story said after, you know, many years they died, they, you know, like went to hell, because, you know, lokpartawa, it means like have a wrong view, right? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, how come this is like not, things cannot be empty, you know, emptiness. It's all bullshit, all those things. That's why they went to the so the disciple, right, the teacher of those disciples was not very happy. So I think it's a Shariputra, I'm not very sure, sorry. So he and Manjushri went to talk to Buddha. You know, I was teaching, everybody was so happy, right? My students were happy. They were actually about to achieve enlightenment. But all of a sudden this Manjushri came and start to teach, you know, like about emptiness. And this happened, like they died and now they are in hell. And they say, who's right, you know? And Buddha said, oh, Manjushri is right. Even though your disciple died, or, you know, like in hell, he's right. Because if they achieve enlightenment, they will be in that lotus for so many years. They're just basically wasting their time. If they go to hell, right, they will come back again. So when they come back again, they will be ready to, you know, receive the teaching of Mahayana teaching. So then, you know, it will actually Manjushri saved them lots of time.
Yes.
Right? So that's why there's a stories like that.
有一个故事呢，就是佛陀的弟子呢，这位弟子有一天呢，正在教导他的众弟子们，然后正当呢，这位弟子要教导他的弟子们，快要到正悟的时候呢，曼殊师利就文殊菩萨来了，然后文殊菩萨呢就对他的弟子，对这些正在快要证悟的弟子们讲了空性的这个教法，然后因为这个佛陀弟子的弟子们呢是小乘人，所以他们没有办法接受空性，所以他们可能就是有的太惊讶，然后惊讶到可能当场就会吐血身亡，然后因为他们呢并没有这种空性的正见，然后他们都觉得说曼殊师利文殊菩萨讲的这些空性的这个见解呢是错的，根本没有这种说法，然后因此呢这些他弟子的弟子呢就都下地狱了，然后这位佛陀的弟子呢他就很生气呢，就是跟文殊菩萨说，我们去佛陀面前讨个说法。那他把这个情形跟佛陀说之后，佛陀就说呢，文殊菩萨的做法是对的，因为这些小乘人呢，如果他们证悟之后呢，他们就会升到他方世界的莲花里，那就会浪费了太多时间。可是今天呢，文殊菩萨跟他们说呢，说空性这件事情呢，他们因为不相信，然后他们下了地狱。可是他们从地狱出来之后呢，他们就可以开始接受大乘的教法，可以接受菩萨的教法，他们就可以学习空性这件事情。
Yes. So even it's also, you know, goes same with Mijiao. Some people, you know, like some teachers is also said, you know, like Mijiao, to receive Mijiao teaching is like very strict, right? So, you know, if you really cannot believe in this teaching, you know, you should not receive it. If you know, receive those teaching and have a wrong view about this teaching, that you will go to hell for, you know, like not just hell, is a Vajra hell, right? So it is said that, but it also same like that. It's it is in the text. It said, even though you think you might think wrong about Michao's teaching, right? But some in our text it encouraged that you should go and receive, even though you think you might have wrong view about Michao teaching, right? Tantric teaching, or like you don't trust those tantric. You can go, even though you go to hell, right? You will still save some time. You understand? Like you go to hell,
Yes.
but after you go to hell, right? Then you will come back
Yes.
and receive the teaching.
Yes. 在对密教学习，也是这样，因为密教有一些很严格的学习嘛，那有些人会说，如果你对密教的教法没有信心啊，或是有一些不正确的见解，或是有些误解啊，那你就不应该去。那摩羯的意思是说呢，其实你还是应该去，这是同样的一个道理，就跟小乘人，要走向大乘菩萨的修法是道理是一样的。就是虽然你可能会有一些误解啊，或是错误的见解，那也许你会先下地狱，或者是甚至是金刚地狱。可是当你再回来的时候呢，你就可以休息得更好，这样子。
Yeah, because you are burning all those, like bad fuels, right? Fuel like that actually stop you from receiving all those teachings, right? Once you go to hell, you'll wash all those bad karmas, right? So when you're reborn as a human being, at that time, you will be ready, to receive those tantric teaching, which can help you to achieve enlightenment in just a one life.
这就是虽然是你可能对有些教法有些错误的见解会下地狱，但是罗谢说不用担心，因为这样呢可以洗清你的业力，那还有一些不好的业障。那当你在回来当人的时候呢，就不会有这些不好的业障跟随你，你就可以重新的学习。
Yeah. So yeah, these are some things that like we should understand first. So now the second today, right? Pani pui. So the last class, right, is about like don't like it's about a very they talk about the samsara, right? Okay. Anyway, so now we start from today, right? So it says that Pani Puni Mani Chungmani Kewo Dargyur Pada Shenyi Thang Dopani to Chivi Teledo Korwa Dana Nyepa Gama Cheese, right? So you read it in Chinese?
Yes, you mean 66?
66, yeah.
Yes. 对，父转成子，母成妻，怨敌父次成亲友，事故流转轮回者，无有少许确定性。
Yes. So now this is actually very important, for all of us, really. I think, what it says, right? You don't have to feel like, oh, he's my relative, he's my, sister, brother, friend. So that's why, I have to love them. Oh, he is my enemy, or I have to hate him, right? So Nagarjuna, right, he is saying, just because you think he is your parent, he is your relative, you have to love. Or just because that person, they did something to you and you feel like he's your enemy, so you have to hate him. Nagarjuna is saying, you don't have to do like that, because it's very uncertain. It's not sure. Maybe this life he was your father, but previous life maybe he was your, very bad enemy. Who knows? So it says that it is not certain. It is not certain, right? So there's no reason for you to act like that.
龙树菩萨说呢，不要因为他是你的父母或是你的亲朋好友呢，你就爱护他。或者是说呢，如果这个人是你的敌人呢，你就很怨恨他，或是仇视他，因为呢，此生呢，就今生呢，也许你们是家人的关系，或是好朋友的关系，可你不知道，就是 在潜意识呢，他是不是你的敌人，是不是你恨之入骨的人呢？这个呢，我们都没有办法确定，所以不用就是太在意。
Yeah, and especially like your parents, your relative. I don't think you should be very attached, because we never had a choice. We never had a choice to make them our relative. We don't have a choice, right? But friends, we have a choice. We had a choice. We make a friend. Maybe I think we should be more attached to our friend than our parents and relative.
我们呢对自己的父母亲戚呢都不用太执着，因为我们没有办法选择自己的父母跟自己的亲戚。那或许呢，我们可以把执着放在我们的好朋友，就是亲朋好友，就自己的好朋友上面，因为朋友是自己可以选择的。
Yeah, and I'm just joking. I'm joking. Yeah, 开玩笑的。对。So anyway, right? So there's like a very nice teaching, particularly on this part. There's like very great master. I don't know how do you say it in Chinese. In Tibetan we say it's also in Pali language. Katayana. Remember? So right, he is like also disciple of Buddha, right? So he was actually walking. He was walking, right? So and he saw a guy, right? A man was holding a baby, right? And next to him there was a dog, right? Next to him there was a dog, right? And the dog was chewing. Yeah, chewing like a bone, chewing a bone. Bone, 骨头. Bone, yes. Bone, right? Bone. Right.
I thought you said ball. I said, huh? Chewing a ball.
Yeah, chewing a bone, right? And that master saw that person, he said, "Oh, so funny." He said, "So funny." Now the reason why it's so funny, right, is that the kid that he was carrying, right, is his previous life enemy.
Yes.
Right, his previous life enemy born into his kid. As born as his kid. So he was like so like in love, right, and attached to that kid.
Yes.
Which is his enemy, in previous life. And he was eating like fish or something, right? And that fish was, like his dad passed away, right? His father passed away. So his father was born as a fish. Yes. And he was basically eating the, father's meat, right? Pasha sashing, right? Maladik. Ma means that dog, right? Is his actually mother, who passed away and born as a dog.
Yes.
And when he saw the dog, right, he was just throwing, stoning the dog. And your own enemy, who was born as your kid, was in his lap, in love with that kid so much. Then dog, right, was nibbling, like eating the bone, which was, right, his husband's bone, right? Husband, maybe previous life or something. So he said, it's so funny. So it's just like that, like just because, like in this life you might be my, enemy, but maybe, most likely you are my relative or friend or my parents, most likely. So, Nagarjuna is saying, just because in this life, he's your enemy, you don't have to hate. Probably he was your relative or maybe probably your parents.
有一个故事呢，原名 Gadayana。
Yeah, Gadayana, it's okay.
就是有一位不知道怎么翻 Gadayana， 他走在路上呢，他看到一个人呢，手中抱着一个小孩， 然后他又正在吃鱼，然后旁边跟着一只狗，然后狗呢嘴里也啃了一个骨头。他看了之后呢，他觉得这个景象呢就是很滑稽又很奇怪。他说呢，这个人呢，怀里抱着的小孩呢，是他前世的敌人，是他最恨的人。然后呢，他嘴里吃着的鱼呢，就是吃的这个鱼肉呢，这条鱼呢是他过世的父亲转世来的，跟在他旁边的这条狗呢，是他过世的母亲转世来的。那这条狗嘴里呢啃着的骨头呢，是他转世母亲不知道哪一世转世而来的先生，现在变成他嘴里的骨头这样子。那这个尊者就说呢，这个画面真的是很滑稽哦。那所以那个龙树菩萨说呢，你这世呢最讨厌的人呢，他有可能就是你前世的最好的朋友，或者是你的父母。所以呢，我们都没有办法知道自己的前世，然后因为我们都一直在这个世间轮回着，所以不管你看到你的亲朋好友呢，或者是你最讨厌的人呢，都不要有对他们太过执着，然后不要就是有过多的情绪的表现。
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why, these things happen, right? The reason why your enemy born as your kid, that you don't have any other choice but to love that kid, which is actually your enemy in your previous life, right? Why all those things happens, like you have to hate your own mother, hate your own dad, all those things, right, happen. We do that. Why this is actually happening? How come your parents is not born again as your parents or as your kid? Why does this doesn't happen? Is because it's because of attachment. Because you are so attached to things, right? Your parents, you hate your enemy so much, right? What it really happens, it just happens exactly the thing that we don't want it to happen. The person that you like so much will become your enemy. The person that you don't like so much will become your, like a parents or a relative. So we all 冤亲债主, right?
Yes.
The reason, the reason, the basic, the fuel, right? Fuel of this 冤亲债主 is all based on attachment. So when this cycle, right, is happening, right, if there is no fuel of attachment, right, then this cycle will never happen. But because of the attachment, you're so much love into your, attached to your kid or girlfriend or wife or something, right? Because of that attachment, it will just play a reverse role.
为什么就是轮回这件事情呢，为什么会一直发生呢？就是因为我们人都有执着，就是或许呢，你就是你太爱某一个人，或是太恨某一个人，就是你对他有这份执着之后呢，他就会一直跟你有这个缘分，然后就会一直轮回来在你的身边。就也许你前世最爱的人，今生是你最恨的人；你今生最恨的人，前世就是你最爱的人。这件事情就是因为我们都有这个执着，所以有执着是不好的一件事情。那龙树菩萨的意思就是说，就是因为我们都是这样执着，所以轮回的时候呢，你的父母亲朋或是你怨恨的人呢，都会这样反复的这样一直出现在你身边。
Yeah, so that's the the main point. So now the 67, right? So rere gyatso shiwe lhapai homa tungde tadung soso ikewe joso tangwe korwa pe tewe chemang nichik tungcha los.
每一众生所饮乳，胜过四大海洋水。今人流转头一生，未来所饮更过彼。
Yeah, so the point of this this stanza, right, is that you have already been born in this world so many times already. Each life, right, each life that you have born in this world, you have to drink lots of milks, right? Even it's a very metaphorical. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to think in a very literal sense, right? It's just let's say if you drink milk whenever you were born here in this world, right, you probably have drink more milk than the water in the ocean. It means that you have born in this world so many times already.
我们每个人呢，转身，就轮回呢，来这个娑婆世界呢，已经太多次了，多到呢，你每一生转世来喝过牛奶呢，比4大海洋的水还多，就是代表我们转身来的次数真的太多次了。
So yes, so now the reason why we kept being born, kept being born in this samsara, why? Because like gongda, like we need to have a merit. Tharpa chatun, it's a tharpa chatun. Tharpa is enlightenment. Chatun, it's something that can get closer to enlightenment. So there's a lot of gongda, as I say, right? Tharpa chatun ge gyawa is all the gyawa, all the gongda is not a gongda that can push you toward the enlightenment. There is a certain gongda that push you closer to achieve enlightenment, right? And that gongda, that merit, right, karma, is the karma that is based on the intention of achieving enlightenment. So that's why we never had this kind of gongda. That's why we will always be born in the samsara again and again and again. You understand?
Because we don't have the intention to get enlightenment.
Yeah, then we didn't practice based on that intention. So we need to have that, tharpa chatun ge gyawa. We need to keep accumulating that karma.
我们为什么会一直来转生到这个世界呢？就是因为我们每一生呢都有累积功德，可是因为我们的发心都不是要成佛，所以我们就会一直根据这个我们累积的功德呢，一直来转生为人，然后但是却又还没有到达可以成佛的地步，就是一直要来学习。
Yeah, so that's the meaning, right? 67, right? 68. Rere dani rupe pumbone lumbu nyamba nyijik degyurde mai tukta yeshu tsigu zams, right? Rilburu tangyang sai langmi yurus.
过去美事所遗骨，堆积一处超山王。地土团成枣核丸，其量不及为母数。
It's quite same as the previous one. It said that we have already been in this world for so many times, right? If we collect all the bones, it can even be greater than the Mount Meru, right? The Mount Meru.
应该是须弥山。
Oh yeah.
这一季呢跟上一季有一点类似，就是因为我们来这个人世呢太多次了，然后因为我们都会死亡，我们累积的那个遗骨呢，就是我们的骨头呢，已经堆积的都要比须弥山还要多了。
Yeah. And there's also an analogy they use here, if we use all of the earth, earth, the two, is it two? And make it as a pill. There's a fruit that we call gyashuk. Gyashuk is a fruit or maybe flower, I don't know. There's a seed, there's a seed inside the fruit. So this is called gyashuki. It's like a seed, it's a very small seed inside that fruit, right? So if we pick all those earth and make it into a pill size of that thing, right? And like let's say, oh, that's my previous life. That's my previous life. I'm born as a mom, as my mom. If we collect all those earth, right, and try to count how much we have born in this world, you will run out of the earth. But you will not be able to give you, like provide the number of how much you have born in this world.
如果呢，我们要用那个大地的土呢，把它揉成一个小种子呢，就当成你的一生呢，就是一颗小种子是你的一生。那你就算用尽所有大地的土呢，把它揉成这种小种子呢，你就算把土都揉完了，还是没有办法去数量化你转世的数量。
Yeah, so it basically, now it's the same thing. Now why we are keep, reborning in this world is just because we are not practicing. Yeah, that's the point. So, yeah, okay.
这是我们为什么会一直回来呢？就是我们没有好好的修习佛法，好好的发心。
Yeah. So now the 69th, Gyajin Jigden Chue Gyunen Lege Wangi Chiri Yang Sating Long Kolo Gyurwa Nitu Gyurne Kyang Korwa Dado Yang Nitu Gyur.
地势堪称世间共，一夜感召亦堕地。纵然成为转轮王，于轮回中复成仆。
Yeah, so Gyajin, Indra, is like a king of the god, right? What do you say it in Chinese?
第四天。
第四天, right? 第四天. So he said that, now the thing is that, right? So it said that it doesn't matter, like how special, how important, how big you are. At the end, if you don't keep doing a good things, like accumulate a good merit, you will always fall down. That's the point and the meaning of this stanza. He said that, right? Even though that Tisitian, right, is a god of all the king of all the god, but at the end, if he doesn't accumulate good karma, right, he will born in hell, or maybe he will born in somewhere lower realm.
这里说呢，第四天呢，他已经是那个算天神中最大的天神了。可是他如果不继续累积他的善业的话呢，那他呢总有一天呢，他还是会堕入地狱。
Yeah, then not only Gyajin, also Kologyo Gyawo. I don't know how to say it in English. The king of universe.
King of the universe.
What is it in Chinese?
转轮王.
转轮王, right? The one who has a will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So in Abhidharma, there is actually lots of different types of what? 转轮王. Some has in a 转轮, like iron 转轮, right? Will. Some has a silver 转轮. Some has a gold 转轮. So there's also like different level of 转轮.
Okay.
Yeah. So it says that even though you are him, if you don't accumulate a good karma, yeah, you will born somewhere in lower realm.
就即使你已经到了转轮王的地步，然后转轮王呢也有很多种啊。可是如果你人就呢都是不为善，不累积你善的福报或者是你的功德的话呢，你依旧会堕到比转轮王还要低的境界当中。
Yeah. So I think it's also a good message for us to understand that our social status doesn't really matter much, Yeah, it's the meaning of what I meant is like our social status, right, is not something that we can really trust. One day we will be very respected. The another day, yeah, you will be looked down. You might get looked down, right? So don't think, oh, I'm what is this? Oh, I'm 董事长。我是林董，我常董 right? So 我是董事长。So people have this kind of like ego, right? Just thinking, oh, I'm special. right? I'm not gonna stay somewhere low. I'm gonna stay somewhere close to Shifu, right? All those things. So Nagarjuna, he's saying, right? Oh, don't think you are Dongshijang. And just because you are Dongshijang doesn't mean that you should be so relaxed. That's what it means.
在这里呢，应该就是我们有一个很好的例子，就是不管我们有多高的社会地位呢，我们就是要思维着，我们也许曾经很受人尊敬，但可能不知道哪一天就会被大家瞧不起。那或者是说呢，不要以为自己是董事长就很了不起。那有一天你也有可能就是不是董事长的一天，也有可能大家会看不起你。
Yeah, yeah. Anybody can like suffer. That doesn't matter. Anybody, yeah. Yeah. Anybody. If one day we don't have enough Wu-Bao, right? Then that's it. Even you are Rinpoche or Fawang or Dongshijang or doesn't matter. You will suffer. Yeah, so that's the rule.
那就这也就是说呢，不管你是多么重要的人呢，任何人呢，不管是法王啊、董事长啊，都是在很重要地位的人，你只要不累积你的善业了，你就是都会离开那个位置。
Yeah. So now the 70, right? The 70, 70.
70.
Yeah,
69.
69 is the one that we just said.
Okay, 70.
70. 70 is like, oh, don't feel so safe because you think that you have a very nice friend. That's the message, right? Thori phumu numa kebala rigbe dewa yuring nyong ne lar nyalwar thakcho webe tulgor ki rekpa shindu me se ten celos. You want to read?
富多地狱这是69嘛？
对。
那70是
70是纵然长期于天界，像俄罗斯天女那一段。纵然长期于天界，像俄罗斯天女。
等一下，为什么我跟你不一样？哦，我看到，纵然长期于天界，享用婀娜之天女，复堕地狱遭碎断，感受极难忍受苦。
Yeah. So yeah, the point is that don't feel very safe because你的旁边有 like very famous person. 你的旁边有人不见 no so that's why you don't have to feel. It doesn't mean that you can feel safe. You understand? So it means that you don't rely. You cannot be relying on your friend all the time. Because it's not very certain. It's very uncertain. Anything could happen, right? So just because you have a friend, very nice friend, right? It doesn't mean that you are safe. You are not safe.
不要因为呢，你身边有一些仁波切啊，或是一些比较有声望、名望、社会地位的朋友呢，你就觉得你没事，你就觉得你可以靠你的朋友让。就是有点像他是你的靠山一样，靠着你的朋友，你就可以过得很好这样子。
Yeah. So Thori Phumuke Noma Yebala Ribe Dewa Yuring Nyone Laras. Yeah, it says that in heaven, right? You touch. It just the meaning is that if you have a very pretty girlfriend, it's just like that, Just because you have a very nice, pretty girlfriend, it doesn't mean that you will be with that, girlfriend for your whole life. One day anything could happen, and if you really don't train your mind, right, practice, yeah, either she will leave you or you will leave her, either by 吵架, right, fighting, or maybe divorce, or maybe. At the death by death, right? So one day, you have to leave, and you will born somewhere, in lower realm.
所以说，在天界的天女呢，都是你的美女呢。那以我们来说呢，就是 假设你有很好的家庭啊，或者是你有很漂亮的女朋友啊，那你如果不好好累积你的福报功德的话呢，那有一天他也会离开，你也有可能会离开，你们可能会分手，或者是你们可能会离婚。这些事情呢，都不是定数的，都会改变的。
Yeah. So the 71 is Kangbe Rekpe Nembar Desweba Lumbola Urin and Laria Memoronia Juai Dungal Mise Punyam Kitselos. So it's also same, you don't feel very safe just because you have a very nice house, that's the meaning.
不要因为你有一个很好的房子呢，你就觉得很安全。
Yeah, just because you have a house in Xinyilu, right? Yeah, don't feel so safe.
不要因为你有一栋在信义路的房子，你就觉得很自满。
It's very expensive there, right?
Huh? Yes.
Yeah.
Extremely expensive.
So. Yeah. So it's just like because when we how to say try to talk about the heaven, we say the heaven floor is not like this, it's not hard. If you step right, you feel like a sofa, right? When you step on the floor, it will just go down, right? And when you lift your feet, it will come up. It just feel like a sofa. That's what it's saying. But basically, it's just like that. Basically, like just because you have a nice house, it doesn't mean you are safe. You need to practice, even though you live in a nice house with a nice, girlfriend or boyfriend.
即使在天界呢的地板呢，不是像我们的人界的地板啊，天界的地板是很像踩在沙发上面，就你踩下去，然后还会有一种弹回来、飘起来的感觉。这边大概意思就是说，不要因为你有好的房子呢，你就觉得安全。
Yeah, and 72 and 73rd, right? It's together. Tori pumud Zhongxinggawa the number Zesel Summer Sene Lar Damarati Datsel Nanamki Kangla Nawana Tobar Jor Tergi Papa Hai Pumuni Dongzesirgi Lepemal Henshugne Laria Nilwe Chu Ramebar Sago Sola choosing Juxelos 72 and 73.
72 is 与诸天女相宜喜，美丽乐园共嬉戏。复将为诸剑叶林，斩断手足于耳鼻，或入曼陀妙池沼，天女金花艳彩容，舍身步入无滩河，赤门难挡受热浪。
Yeah, so it's same. It's quite same. The point here is that you cannot trust your feeling. That's it. Like just because you feel happy. Just because you feel unhappy, it doesn't mean, basically saying that just because you feel very happy, about the pleasure, like pleasure of, body, pleasure of smell, pleasure of, the sukta, tea, and taste, all those things, just because you have this quality in your life, it doesn't mean, you are safe. It's the same.
这一季呢也是跟上面是差不多。这一季大概是讲说，就算你有生活中有各种享受啊，眼耳鼻舌身意上面的享受都是美好的，也不代表你就是很安全这样子。
Yeah. Then the 74th is mostly same these things. 하율 되데 신도 첨보당 상니 차를 대와 톱네 나르메 메이 pushing 규바이 둥얼 규미 쳐봤던 셀로스. Yeah. 74.
欲天界中大乐者，梵天离贪得安乐。复称 无间欲火星，不断感受痛苦也。
Yeah, so even you know, 하율 되신도 첨보단 상반이 is, right? So when we like when we talk about, you know, like God realm, right? God ten randa. 天界, right? There's like we talk about like not only God realm. It's like we have like three, right? Dukam, Sukham, Sumikam. Like we have three realm, and one God belongs to this realm. You know, desire realm. How some people maybe know.
欲界天，
Desire realm.
欲界天，
Ichima. Then
欲界天，
then second one. Form realm. Form like
色界天，
such it. Then
无色界
such
No
it, right?
form.
Yeah. So like all of, you know, like in the first one, Yuche, right?
Yeah.
So there's a God Yuche Tian, right? There's like 33. Right? So there's a certain, you know, like not all of the God, right? But there's also like, you know, in 33, there are some that are even higher, you know, like let's say like from 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. They're those God, just like that. It doesn't mean it's not very important. So thing is that, right? That, right, first. And even the second one, which is
色界
Serche, right? Serche, those God, right? They actually have, you know, they are actually have lots of joy, but it doesn't matter, you know. If you don't do good things, you will come down and suffer somewhere in lower realm, maybe in hell, maybe, you know, in human realm.
这里呢是指，就算在天界呢，33界天人呢，欲界天的天人，或是色界天人天人呢，他们都有很大福报，然后都是在天界享乐。可是，一旦当他们就是不修行，然后不好好累积自己善业的福报呢，他们终有一天呢，都还是会往下坠落，然后甚至会堕到地狱。
Yeah. So then 75, right? I think because you guys might be seeing in Chinese that they are also talking about hell realm, right? Hell realm, hell realm, right? Like if you don't do this, you know, you will born in this realm, hell realm, right? So this hell realm is just, you know, we don't have to talk so much about it right now. Maybe after a couple of days, right? A couple of times, we will talk about hell, like even more, with how to say. We will describe, you know, the hell realm.
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have to talk so much about this hell realm thing.
今天呢，可能就是我们的书上面呢，或者我们讲义上面可能会有一些讲到地狱的部分。那么这意思是说，地狱的部分可能比较多，那我们之后呢再详细讲，今天先不讲。
Yeah. And the 75th, Nima Dawa Nito Braluki, Huki Jitin Tada Nang Chete, Lariam Muna Mato Chingurne Rangi Laba Gangba Hang Tong Bitong Jurus.
或生日月，自生光，照耀一切世间界，死后复至黑暗处，伸展至手亦不见。
Maybe you because I think this is more from like Hindu mythological, you know, like creature, you know, mythological, like right? Yeah. So like even you, because they say, you know, like a sun is like is also like a sentient being, you know, like a god. Moon is also God. They think like that, right? So I think it's because we don't, like Buddhism, we don't say sun is a god, or we don't say this thing. We cannot be born as a sun, right?
Yeah.
So you say, so I think it is more related to like Hindus or maybe like I don't know other religions, mythological creature or something. So he say like even though you were born as a god of sun, even though you were born as a god of moon, right? Right. Yeah, nothing is safe. Yeah. So right now, because you are a sun, right? You can clear, like you can brighten up the whole universe. But one day when you don't have that full power, right? You won't even see your own hand. That day could happen, could come to you if you don't have a full power. Like born as a sun and born as a moon, right? Let's say you were born as a sun, right? And you were born as a moon. You can brighten up the whole world, right? Daytime you will brighten up, nighttime you will brighten up the whole world, right? Because you have a full power now. But that full power can also exhaust, can finish, right? One day.
Yes.
So when finish, right? So then you at that moment you won't even be able to see your own hand. You mean that you won't be even be able to brighten up, shine some light on your hand and see your hand. It will be that dark.
这一次呢，就即使呢你是日神呢，或是月神呢，你可以照亮世间万物呢。一个是日神是照亮白天嘛，然后月神呢是照亮晚上。就即使你有这么大的神力呢，终有一天呢，你还是有可能呢，就是会失去身为日神或月神这个身份，然后终有一天呢，就你还是会，你可以照亮别人，然后终有一天，当你堕落的时候呢，你不好好的修习善业、累积功德福报的时候呢，你也是没有办法照亮任何人，你连自己的手都照亮不起。
Yes. So now the 76 Theder Nongpar Jur Sel Sonamni Namsu Marme Nawa Rab Sheshing Chibu Nima Dawe Mizive Minatai Nauto Jukselos.
如是之成罪恶后，当称三伏之明灯，独自驱入日月光，无法遣除之暗处。
So that's why Nagarjuna said that, so king, now do you see all the, fault of the samsara, right? That the core of all the fault, right? The main reason why it is fault, it's fault of samsara, right? It's because it's something that you cannot trust. That's the fault. This samsara, right? Let's say you are a Tenu, right? And you are something that I can really trust forever, right? Let's say. What does it really mean that like you have to be someone that will never fail my expectation, right? You understand? If let's say if I say, right, you are someone that I can trust forever. If you can be that person, then what you have to be is you cannot age, right? If she aged, then she's not pretty anymore, isn't it? Let's say she never aged, but one day she died. Same, right? So that's why I cannot trust you. It's not because you are bad. It's because that's a nature, right? Understand?
Yes.
So that's when we say it's fault of some samsara, why it is fault? It's not because she is a human being, not because she is a pretty, not because she is not pretty. It's because that I cannot trust, the nature of this world, because like you think, oh, she might be with me, maybe she might divorce me, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, or maybe she even die. So it means that we cannot trust. Anything that you cannot trust is a fault, and that's what we mean by suffering.
在这个轮回当中呢，我们为什么不能相信呢？就是因为有瑕疵，所以我们没有办法相信。就好像呢，假设呢，你很相信某一个人，你完全信任他， 可是当我们相信他了之后呢，他某一天可能突然不见了，或是死了，或是病了，或是老了，你就会觉得，就会突然间没有依靠，就觉得无法相信。那为什么会发生这件事情呢？就是应该怎么说？我们没有办法去相信，就是自然就会发生的事情，就是这个轮回中的不完美的地方，我们是不能相信这件事，就没有什么事是安全永久的。
How to say fault？
瑕疵。
缺点吗
？False。
It's not 缺点。
不是缺点
啊？
过患。
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 哦。
过患哦，哎，为什么这个是过患？因为我们不可以相信啊。That's the thing. That's the point. 为什么 ？Why this is a fault, right? Why the samsara, is 过患 right? Because why we cannot trust. If samsara is not 过患, if we can trust the samsara, then there's no 过患. So that's why we say, the suffering. When we say all the phenomena in this, in this universe is a suffering, right? It's not mean feeling suffering. It doesn't mean that. We say this is also suffering, but table doesn't have a feeling. How come it can be suffering? It is suffering because we cannot trust this thing. One day it looks very pretty, right? Tomorrow it looks very dirty. So that's why this table is also a suffering. Why? Because we cannot trust. Why? Because it's impermanence. It is subject to be changed anytime, without notice. So that's why it says, right? So the reason why it's all a problem is because we cannot trust. That's why Nagarjuna is saying, it doesn't matter what's your status. It doesn't matter, who you stay with. It doesn't matter, like who are your friends. It doesn't matter who you are. You cannot trust all of those things. That's why it's all suffering. So be prepared, do gongda, practice.
这是龙树菩萨说的，就是我们轮回中有所有的过患，这就是为什么我们没有办法相信呢？就是你身边的亲朋好友呢，或是你的社会地位呢，或是你享受的这些美好安逸生活，都是无常，他们随时有可能呢会不见，会消失。
Yeah, so something like that, huh? So today we stop here. Actually, yeah, 75, right? 76.
今天就上到这里。然后我们下礼拜呢会，因为下礼拜是连假，所以会暂停一次。
哦，对对，连假 ，When is it 连假 ？28. Oh. Okay, maybe, yeah. If you guys need a rest, yeah, take a rest. So, any question?
仁波切刚刚有提到，就是当我们福报够的时候，佛就会现前加持我们，那这个莲花就会打开嘛。就是那我这边想到就是说，不知道能不能这样问，方便让我们观想和练习。那这个莲花具象的代表它是什么？是发心吗？因为刚刚仁波切有提到的是，为什么我们会轮回呢？就是因为我们发心不够，这是第二个问题。那第二个问题是，发心跟福报是两个一起并行的吗？发心跟福报没有所谓的前跟后，
没有所谓的
有顺序吗
？They have a sequence. Like you have to have intention first, then comes the merit.
Oh yeah, of course. 对啊，一定要动机，一定要前，先动机一定要，对啊，动机啊，for example, right? My mother hit me, slap me, right? But it's okay. Why? Because she loves me, right? Isn't it? So intention matters. If you hit me, right, because you are my good friend, right, and I know you hit me because you love me. That's a good thing, isn't it? There is a chances that I can understand. But if you hit me because you were angry, yeah, then I will not be happy, right? My dad hit me, but he loves me. It's like that. So intention, of course, 有这个。
有顺前后。
Yeah, 有，一定要。But what we need to understand, right? Because we as a Buddhist, we talk about intention, motivation all the time. And we believe that, intention and motivation is must. Every time you do something, before you must have intention. It's not like that. We need to understand. Because the people, like Buddhists, they say, 我今天我不要大礼拜啊，因为我没有动机，没有没有好的动机啊，所以我不要做，不是这样。Whatever you do, right, it's important to have intention, Even though today you don't have an intention, but yesterday you had, right? You say for this whole life, I will always do prostration because I want to improve myself, right? I want to help other people. That's good enough. Tomorrow you don't have an intention, right? It's also okay. So intention is something that, move you, make you do things. But intention is not make you, will not help you keep doing it. For that, if you really want to keep doing it, you need discipline. Motivation, will make you do things, but discipline will keep you going. You understand? Help you keep going. So most of the people think, 我没有今天我没有动机啊，我不要做，不是这样。Really, it's important to have an intention, but intention is not what makes you keep going. That's for that you need to discipline. Mm-hmm. Discipline means I don't give a shit about your feeling.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. That's the thing, really.
接下来就是刚刚波切提到的，就是发心会在福报之前嘛。那回过头来，就是刚刚波切有提到的是文殊菩萨 Mr. 他在可能是灵鹫山上面这边他讲了空性，但是呢，可能有一群比丘尼或是尊众有产生的邪见。那为什么会有这几种不同的结果呢？他对这么一大群的人来看，只是是不是其实这个问题还是回过来，就是
你的意思是问说，
单一世来看
小圣人为什么会有邪见吗？
对，就是我们不能从单一世来看，我们要从长远的轮回来看待这一件事情。
What's the question? What's the meaning?
He said just now you mentioned the story of all the magistrate.
Yeah, I know.
He told the disciple of Shaochen emptiness, and then they are too shocked and vomited the blood and died.
Yeah.
And so why don't they believe emptiness?
Yeah.
没有福报啊。We say, right? If you sprinkle, sprinkle like this, sprinkle, right? If you sprinkle gold in donkey's ear, donkey's ear, right? Donkey will shake his head.
Yeah.
And if you, like sprinkle some rice, right, in his donkey ear, he will do the same. It's like this. 所以福报不够啊。So that's why 福报 is important. It is important, And when we talk about 福报, and when we talk about karma, we should not think about, previous life, no. Previous life karma, 上辈子的我一定要做啊，什么业障啊，上辈子的业障，上辈子的不好。It's not like that, no, really. The reason, so 上辈子的how to say 业啊，跟这辈子的业哪一个比较重要？这辈子的业比较重要。我们佛教的这个学生都会说，我这辈子很痛苦，因为我上辈子我业障太重，不应该，这辈子的业障 更
重，
对，更重，真的。And I think it's also help. It's also maybe a mind trick to say, oh, it's my like 上辈子的业障 because you feel like, oh, I didn't have any choice now. Right? Then it makes you feel a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand? It's also kind of play a mind trick.
Yeah.
Oh, 上辈子我没有办法. Like this. If I say, oh, because of you did something in this life, you may feel bad, But most of the people, they just like to pick, the previous life.
Yeah. They don't want to face this.
Yeah. I think it's just like, being pussy. Yeah. I think it's more important, really. The effect, right? It's this life. Thing that you have done in this life has much more impact, than you have done in your previous life. Yeah. Previous life, 业障, right? It definitely have some how to say, play, right? Have some play in this life suffering. But the thing that you have done, in this life has much more, bigger role in your suffering in this life. 所以这辈子的业障啊比较重要。Just don't always say, from his previous 上辈子不是上辈子。
请问一下，那个去医院去医院人很多，看医生那回家的时候，就睡不着觉。师父，你有什么方法可以帮忙？
最近我也睡不着啊。最近我有看过一个咒啊，真的，